really fighting the insurance industry tooth and nail right now. And the sheer scale of the Global Week of Action was for sure the largest grassroots mobilization that I've seen on the insurance campaign.
Hello and welcome to episode 3, season 2 of the RAN Wrap-Up, Rainforest Action Network's look at the good, the bad, and the ugly in news from around the world affecting the climate and all those that depend on it. As always, we're taking a look this week at the issues that will ultimately affect all of us, what we can do about it, and what we are doing about it here at the Rainforest Action Network. Is anyone else sick this week? I'm definitely sick. This is no fun, but we got an episode to do. So last episode, we talked with Maggie, RAN's senior forest campaigner, and she talked about our campaign against Procter & Gamble and Mondelez and Conflict Palm Oil, and we talked about the actions we organized down in Florida at a conference. If you want to dive into it a bit, go check out that interview. Lots of fun stuff. But the Florida actions didn't stop there. On this episode, we have our first return guest, very exciting, Mary Lovell. She's back. She's our energy finance campaigner, who you may remember from episode 7 of season 1. And she's given us an update on the insurance campaign, how that's been going, and how activists ended up on the highlight reel of the Chubb Classic, a prestigious golf tournament. Really? I'm looking forward to that story. I don't want to spend too much time talking to you when we could be hearing from Mary, so I'm going to keep this relatively quick. Last episode, we asked you to help in our Insurance Global Week of Action by participating in our calendar jam. Not only was that a success, but there were over 100 actions in 31 countries around the world, and hundreds of thousands of people took action online demanding climate action from major insurers like Liberty Mutual, Chubb, and AIG. I know when I'm just talking to you on here and I'm asking you to sign a petition, you're like, it's just one person. Am I really making that much of a difference? Well, you're not alone, because that petition, we had over 350,000 messages demanding Liberty Mutual, Chubb, and their peers stop insuring liquefied natural gas, LNG, in the Rio Grande Valley. You also helped put Chubb on blast across social media, and as I said earlier, we took your message directly to Chubb, showing up at their sponsored golf tournament in Florida and outside their offices in New York City, where leaders from the Gulf hand-delivered the petition. And this week, we need your help to turn the tide. Procter & Gamble has some pretty shady corporate partners in their supply chain, including a company called Royal Golden Eagle, or RGE. They are not only a producer of palm oil, but that palm oil comes with a price: rainforest destruction, land theft, and human rights abuses. So let's send P&G a message. Click on the link down below in the show notes and head over to our action page where you can leave a review on Tide's Amazon page, and then let them know what you really think of Tide, Procter & Gamble, and RGE with a 1-star review. And if you like, some choice words. If you need help in that department, we got you covered at that link. Okay, and speaking of action, we have yet another great interview for you today. We're talking with Mary Lovell, who was in Florida telling Chubb to start insuring our future and not climate chaos. Hello, Mary. Welcome again. You are back, which is pretty exciting to me. I'm excited to have you back here. Tell us who you are and what do you do at RAN?
My name is Mary Lovell, and I'm an energy finance campaigner at RAN.
And what does that mean?
So I pressure the insurance industry to drop oil and gas.
We did a whole interview with you about the insurance campaign. But can you do like a quick recap on what is the insurance campaign? What's that all about?
So the insurance campaign has been going on for a number of years now. And what we started out doing was pressuring insurance companies to drop coal. And now we've moved on to pressuring insurance companies to drop oil and gas. And so just like your house has insurance or your car has insurance, these huge oil pipelines and coal mines also need insurance in order to get the rest of their financing and in order to operate. So we try to go after the insurance companies as a key corporate pillar behind all of these really nasty fossil fuel projects. The other thing is that insurers have some of the best data about climate change, and so they are really well informed to the risks of climate change. So we don't have to convince them that climate change exists. We just have to convince them that they are actually a culprit in the fight against climate chaos. Insurers are super knowledgeable about climate change because when there's wildfires and hurricanes and floods, they have to pay out the cost to consumers that are filing for coverage. So they do like a ton of risk analysis about climate change because their industry is super impacted by it.
Which also means they often take
coverage away from individuals.
Yeah, so insurers are abandoning individual homeowners, just everyday people all the time because they'll say, oh, climate change is impacting Louisiana, and so we aren't going to operate there anymore. Meanwhile, they're insuring LNG facilities just down the street.
I think last time we talked, you were focusing on Chubb as one of the main insurance companies. Is that something you're still working on?
Yeah, so Chubb is a major insurer of the gas build out in Texas and Louisiana. And so we've been really pressuring them in their role of these huge methane gas facilities are taking insurance from Chubb and then exporting gas all around the world. We've been really focused on Chubb as one of the main commercial insurers in the US. They're a New York-based company and they're absolutely huge. You wouldn't have heard of them because they don't really provide a lot of house insurance or insurance to everyday people. They mostly provide insurance to like millionaires. They insure yachts, they insure multi-million-dollar homes, and they insure commercial insurance.
As an insurer that we are targeting, that meant they were a target of this recent week of action. Is that right?
Yeah, so we recently did a week of action. There were over 100 actions all around the world. Those direct actions happened in 31 countries. So everywhere from Bangladesh to Houston, Texas, we were all organizing on insurance companies for their role in expanding these fossil fuels. And so Chubb was a major target in this recent wave of action. We did a protest at one of their huge golf tournaments, which was really fun because it's where they go to build relationships with those multimillionaires. So it felt really fun to mess with them on their home turf.
Yeah. What did that look like?
A couple of people, Dami and Shauna, went out on the green with a banner and chanted "Stop Insuring Fossil Fuels" live on the Golf Network. There was like thousands of people there. The Floridians present definitely booed them off of the green, but it was really great because basically a ton of the senior executives from Chubb were at this golf tournament in order to rub elbows with the rich, and they sponsored this golf tournament. It's one of the only events that they sponsor all year round. They had their name and logo all over the Ritz-Carlton. They just spend oodles of money to be able to build relationships there in Florida. A couple of people snuck in order to disrupt that and in order to call on them to stop insuring these major methane gas facilities.
And got on Golf Network. It's kind of a dream.
Yeah, you never know how you're going to get famous, right?
So it sounded like the week of action was pretty great, though. Stuff was happening all around the world.
My favorite action that I saw from afar was a couple hundred youth did a protest in Bangladesh outside of a coal mine. And they all had matching t-shirts and rolled up on bicycles all around this coal mine and had signs naming the different insurers that are behind coal expansion in their area. But we also did like a 200-person march in New York City that was going from the headquarters of Chubb to AIG. People blocked the doors at AIG, and it was frontline leaders from across Texas and Louisiana speaking truth to power through going into the lobbies of those different offices. In Houston, Texas, we also did an action. There was about 50 people in the heart of oil country speaking out against these major gas facilities that are being built across Texas, including some of the people that live in Freeport, Texas, that were impacted by a major explosion. So yeah, these communities are just like really fighting the insurance industry tooth and nail right now. And the sheer scale of the Global Week of Action was for sure the largest grassroots mobilization that I've seen on the insurance campaign.
That sounds incredible. Nice work. What's next for the insurance campaign?
Honestly, to be determined. I know that there's a ton of grassroots organizers that are just looking at turning up the heat on all of these companies. The people that we did the direct action with in Houston were just absolutely determined to keep pressuring these insurance executives. And so I expect that anytime that an insurance executive is speaking at events or out in the world, that they'll continue to face public pressure.
All of that sounds amazing. Thanks so much for the continued hard work. Also, thanks for being our first return guest on the RAN Wrap-Up. I love hearing about the insurance campaign and what you're all up to. So thanks so much, Mary.
Thanks again, Mary, for all your work, for organizing behind the scenes and being vocal out on the front lines, and of course, joining us here in season 2. As always, if you'd like to get more involved in taking action or getting more information, head on over to our webpage at ran.org. That's RAN.org. where you can join us in using people power to challenge business as usual. And why would you want to do that? Because we win.